morning, everyone, and welcome back to Laurel Park for this Friday racing card. We kick off our second weekend in the new year 2025. I'm Keith Fustel with Equibase alongside Director of Communications, Dan Oman. How you doing?
Doing great. We just had a little fire alarm.
Oh, yeah.
No problems. We're back. We're ready to go. Hot action at Laurel Park this weekend. We've got 2 stakes on Saturday, full fields Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The racing office did a superb job.
Yeah, really looking forward to a competitive fields abound throughout the weekend. So some great betting opportunities. Hope you're along with us for the entire weekend. And weather warming up a little bit. 30 feels like 60 out there right now. We've been dealing with some really frigid temperatures, and kudos to everybody who's had to deal with it, from the grooms, backside, everybody with these horses. It's tough this time of year, but we're getting through it. So let's take a look at today's car. We're going to kind of take a look at the weather outside. It's clear as we get. It's a little chilly because we were just out there. And light winds, 8 to 10 miles an hour, temperature 33. Main track is fast. As
long as there's no wind, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
If it's wind and the wind chill makes it feel like 8, I'm out.
No doubt about it. Let's kick this off. We got a little bit of a delay, 50 minutes now until race 1 at Laurel Park. Maidens. 3-year-old maiden claimers, 12-5, going to get you started. A field of 8. Let's take a look at that field if we can, and that's going to kick off the early value pick 5. No scratches in race 1. Like I said, we're going to go 2 turns, a mile and a 16th. Tepid morning line favorite to 2 a line. But yeah, let's talk about this early pick 5, 12% takeout. I've got a ticket for the early value pick 5. Not terribly expensive, $36 for this play. Race 1's kind of tricky. You got 6 horses coming out of the same race, but I'm going to land on the 2, 3, and 4. I lean a line in the opener. Race 2, we're going to narrow it down 2 deep with the 3. Midnight Renegade at a good value, and Window Choke. I think these 2 are going to like the pace that they're going to see in front of them this afternoon. Race 3, 1, 2, 3, and 8. Certainly a spread race. If you could go a little bit deeper there, please do. Everybody single. Going to be a lot of singles here on Sugar. Steve's looked really good his last 2 races. See if he can continue his form. It's razor sharp right now. Big fig advantage. Race 5, wrap it up with 3 runners. The 6, 7, and 8, not so holy, going first off the claim. And the 8, a little drop off the break for BTR. $36. Dan, let's get started in race 1. We'll go right to the video spotlight. Your top selection, Flatbed Ford, is in here along with a line and a host of others from that race on December the 21st.
Including Bud's Island, who
Yes.
just did not break well at all, just getting bumped there and then getting squeezed there. This just was not a good start for Bud's Island, and only his second lifetime start after he didn't break very well in his career debut. And it's so tough for these inexperienced horses when they're pinched and squeezed back. Look, this horse is last right now, last on the backstretch, just has so much work to do. And in this situation, you're dependent on pace, which he got, but you're also dependent on trip. And now this horse is forced to lose ground, passing the 5/8 pole, and is 3 wide, and is forced to make a prolonged bid. What is he now, 6 wide entering the turn? The fact that this horse still finished pretty decently for 5th makes me think there's something here with Flatbed Ford. He is very wide again, turning into the stretch. Remember, this is the 1-turn mile. You never want to lose ground because it's the long stretch to the second finish. The horse only got beat 5 lengths. Lots of upside potential. You're going to see Flatbed Ford finish best of these horses. There were 6 coming out of this race. Flatbed Ford's not the biggest horse in the fight. It makes me wonder if this extra 16th of a mile is going to work out for him, but he was pretty gutsy to get second. A line might have an easier time on the lead this time.
Exactly. I like the draw of a line. He did a lot of the dirty work in that race on the 21st, and I thought held well. And you're talking about the size advantage. He looked like twice the size of Flatbed Ford, but Flatbed Ford is a trier, improving form for Hammy, and pretty much, yes, everybody getting Lasix in here for the first time. 2, 3, 4, 5 for me. Dan, 3, 2, 7, 5. Tough luck. Also a victim of a wide trip on the 21st. We go to race number 2. Kicks off the early pick 4 in race number 2. We only have 1 scratch. We have a scratch of the 2. Sisyphus, what leaves us with a field of 7. 25 down the 20, 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3. Morning line favorite at 2 to 1. The 5, Irish Hero, and the X-Man. Dan, Win No Joke, looking for that setup again. Jumps up in class, but recent form very, very good.
Certainly ran well last time out. Now, you have to always worry about a horse like this where there are lots more seconds and thirds than lifetime victories, but Win No Joke ran really well last time out. This horse got wired by a very sharp horse shipping in from out of town. Must have been 4, 5, 6 wide through the back stretch into the turn, and then just when it looked like he was making his run, the jock dropped the stick in upper stretch. Maybe it cost Win No Joke the win. This horse has been in very, very good form recently, and I do think with a horse like Irish Hero in this race, there's bound to be some pace. It sets things up for a closer. I'm giving Win No Joke one more chance.
Irish Time with some speed. Bandit's Golden Child, the other Jerry Robb runner, can lay close. The big enchilada we know is usually forward typing. Cyber Time, I thought, was involved in some very, solid internals at the 7/8 distance up against Sugar Steve, now a 6-time winner. How do you think things set up? You're looking at a pretty highly contested pace here in race 2?
I think Irish Hero has one way to go. I think he's going to the front. I think Cyber Time, Hammer, these are horses that are going to try to keep pace early. We'll talk a little bit about Cyber Time because trainer Anthony Farrier has been doing so well recently. Between December the 7th and January the 18th, winning 1/3 of the starters. That's 105 starters, a $2.43 ROI. You mentioned Cyber Time last time going 7, dueling with 2 other horses. That just didn't work out for this horse. The question is, can he rate because Irish Hero is so fast? Midnight Renegade might be the best closer in this race. You might get the setup. I've always liked this horse. Maybe Kieran turns him around.
I like the fact they pretty much hold the level here. Nancy Made My Day has come back to run well out of that most recent race on the 28th. That was a sloppy seal track, going to get fast going today. And the 2-back race kind of caught my eye as well. Had a little traffic and was a little all over the map, final 1/8 of a mile, but I thought kept on with interest. Holding this level is key to me. Comes back and has a sharp work since being claimed. I like what I'm going to see up front for the 3 and the 4. I think they fire into it. 4, 7, 1, 6 for Dan in race 2. I am 3, 4, 1, and 5. I think, I like that stat on Cyber Time. I think this horse can be tactical just off the pace of Irish Hero. Let's go to race number 3, shall we? Race 3 at a flat mile. There we go. Scratch the 4. Margot's Margarita. A little late scratch there for the Henry Walters runner. Leaves us a field of 7. 1 mile, maiden fillies. Okay, this is a tough little distance for these fillies. I kind of lean the 2. Fair Trade is a horse that's going first off the claim. Did wear blinkers in its most recent start. If you had the early edition, that was a little snafu, but we got that straight. But let's take a look at the video of Fair Trade and the 8 in here today. Estacada.
Both horses not away the best. Estacada, you see, broke pretty slow. Fair Trade sort of broke inward a little bit. Fair Trade, though, recovered pretty nicely and is in a good position here. Estacada is going to have to cover ground on the turn, and these horses have a lot of work to do. The winner of this race was the favored gate-to-wire winner, Can Do. Estacada has to angle all the way to the outside, while Fair Trade has to split horses. I thought both ran well. I thought Estacada especially because he gave a little bit more ground on the turn in a race that was controlled in gate-to-wire fashion. We both like horses coming out of this race. We both like different ones. You're giving Fair Trade another chance. I'm going to go with Estacada. I thought this was a promising performance, and he has a slight experience edge.
Yeah, you like that. We've got a stat for trainer Antonio Machado, second out with these maidens that you've come up with, Dan.
Good number for second-time maidens. Estacada, 5 for the last 23, $4.17 return on investment. And again, I thought Estacada ran well, like the fact that J-Rod retains the mount.
Yeah, the favorite here, Lyric Street, and rightly so for those couple of races at Fairgrounds, but why does she show up here? It's an interesting kind of move. She's run okay down there. She had dead aim last time at a short price, just couldn't get by. You see her forward in here and just trying to get the jump on some of these closers?
Well, she got wired last time out, and I just think a good trip is coming for her, right? I mean, doesn't she have the tactical speed where she can sit just off of the lead? I think Fair Trade's going to show a lot more speed second time out, stretching out from 6 to a mile. But I think Lyric Street will not be too far behind and in a very good position when they turn into the long stretch. My one concern is sometimes these Fairgrounds Buyer speed figures, to me, seem a little bit inflated when they come up to Laurel Park. So maybe this horse isn't exactly such a standout at a short price, but is the horse to beat.
I'm going to try to beat her. And inside, take a look at Chattalani Spring. First time Lasix. Ran awfully well last time out. A muddy sealed surface off a little bit of a break. Went back, corrected my short note, caught a little hop and a slight bobble at the break in that race. Ended up going wide. Luminous Secret, that was the Phil Schoenthal horse we had that day. But this horse closed up nicely. Added furlong today and had that style like the mile is not going to be any issue.
And the fourth place finisher of that race, all that horse did was come back to win by what, 18 and
Yes,
a quarter
new boots.
in a 12-5 maiden claimer with a 59 buyer. Loney String just looks like the kind of horse that's going to benefit if this pace heats up. I think this horse might be the strongest closer in the race, and I like the improvement shown second out for a barn that often gives them a race or two before they find their best stride.
I like it. And it's sustained on the correct lead. A lot of times inexperienced horses, they'll be on that left lead, they'll switch. This horse was straight and true through that final quarter of a mile. I like that for the one Loney Spring to bring a finish here in race number 3. Race number 4. We're getting closer through this card. Pick 4, middle pick 4, 4, 5, 6, and 7. First level allowance, 4-year-olds and upward, going 6 furlongs with a purse of $49,000, field of 6. A lot of eyes and a lot of wagers, and a lot of money is going to be on this 6 Sugar Steve. This also kicks off the 20-cent minimum Chesapeake Pick 6, the jackpot wager we offer here at the New Maryland Jockey Club, Laurel Park. Let's get right to Sugar Steve. We've got a recent video off of that December 27th race, and at no point did this one really look like a loser.
No, it was just cruising on the outside. And Normandy Hero, a horse that took a lot of money in this race, showed speed. Sugar Steve went right at him. This was a really nice ride by Lopez because the pace was not fast for this level. You wanted to be close. Sugar Steve now corrals Normandy Hero and just goes about his business. A second consecutive big figure victory for Sugar Steve, who is ideally drawn outside. Now, there doesn't appear to be a ton of pace in this race. It was nice to see that Lopez and Sugar Steve can stay close if the pace is slow, because Prado Road figures to show fresh speed from the rail.
Yeah, we've got a stat on Lacey Gaudet recently, second off the claim. Was it 4 for 16?
4 for 16, $2.40 return on investment. Lacey claims them. They do well. They continue to do well, second off the claim. And again, this horse's form speaks for itself.
Yeah, we're a little short on time, and I'm just going to talk about the 2 Divine Child, a protect move. I think this horse will rally into it. Prado Road, you touched upon, is fresh. A little stat for Prado Road in Brittany Russell.
Yeah, Brittany Russell usually has very good statistics, and Prado Road has one as well. What do we got for Prado Road?
Oh, what do we have? I know it's off the layoff if we can get to it, but maybe you have it. That's all my note was, and we're gonna there it is, right here.
There it is. Layoffs between 6 months and 1 year, 46%. $3.55 return on investment on Prado Road. Yeah. So you don't worry about layoffs with Brittany. And Prado Road looks like the main speed. Was in against some good horses last time out before the break.
I'll see if Palm Island has anything to say about that. This horse on the go back. Now, those Monmouth times, you've got that longer run, if I remember correctly, the 6 furlongs into that flow in battle. I think Palm Island, Prado Road, even Swifty Devil, I don't know if he's quite as quick, but I think there should be pace to target from Sugar Steve, should be perched 3 wide, leaving that far turn. 6-1-4-5, 6-2-1-5 for me. That's the first 4. We'll be back after this short commercial break, and we'll take a look at that late value pick 5.
Baltimore! To the city of Baltimore, to all the fans watching around the world, riders up!
They're off in the Preakness.
All eyes of the world will be on Baltimore.
They're head and head. Seabiscuit leads by a length. Seabiscuit is the winner.
And it was a powerhouse race again by the big, strong Secretariat.
Sunday Silence takes the lead at the quarter pole.
American Pharaoh, phenomenal in the Preakness. And the filly did it! Rachel Alexandra! He wins the Preakness by a dozen lengths.
She's the brave, wins the Preakness.
We are back for race 5, working towards the conclusion of this 9-race card on Friday. We are glad you are with us here today at the races. I'm Keith Fustel. This is Dan Illman, our Director of Communications at the New Maryland Jockey Club. Race 5. A couple scratches in here. Scratch the 3 Box of Rockets and the 9 Mischief Mogul. Race 5 is going 6 furlongs. 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won two. There's your scratches. Your slight favorite, a horse off the claim, is the 6 Not So Holy. This is the late value pick 5, though. 12% takeout. Please join us. Handle spiked a little bit on Saturday's card. We appreciate that. We're going to have a little bit more today. McKenzie Pfeiffer with a ticket for you, a $36 ticket. Going to get you started here, Dan. We'll let you talk about this one.
Yeah, going with Not So Holy and J, another Brittany Russell drop down in the opening leg, the 1A, the 5, and the 11 in race number 6. Mackenzie's then going to go with a horse I know you like a little bit in race 7, Slam Notion, and Nola Boss, the remaining runner from the Russell barn. Race number 8, it's 3 and 10, and then a spread, 4, 6, 7 in the finale. Total cost $36. One of the best bets in the game. Low 12% takeout for the late value pick 5 with carryover potential.
Absolutely. Maybe the best bet in the game, especially here at Laurel Park. Race 5, we're going to cut right to the chase. Dan El Divino Nino off a trouble trip in most recent race, but really ran big after the recovery.
This horse broke okay and then just got pinched back in between horses in the opening furlong, wound it up down on the inside, prompting the pace, had to come off the rail, turning into the stretch with a big look at it, and then finished second with a nice gallop out behind the favorite, a horse that came back to place in a dime-beaten claimer with a 75 Beyer speed figure. Like the horse early on, El Divino Nino has a lot more seconds and thirds than wins, but I just think this horse is coming into form for the right time and can work out a decent trip. Seems pretty pace adaptable.
It's a kind of a big gaudy number. This horse from a buyer standpoint jumped up and ran a 75 last time. With a good break, he's right up on the engine. May have to deal with Super Needy. We'll talk about this 12-1 shot real quick because we have a video spotlight of this Tim Salzman runner for Clover Hill Racing LLC, and I thought this race back on November the 2nd off the layoff was pretty strong, keying up against Nancy Made My Day.
This horse really was fresh off the layoff, gets involved in a pace battle with a horse that was taking a lot of money, and Super Needy just showed no quit in the stretch. Once he switched over to his right lead, he just dispatches this other horse and is going to be unlucky to finish second. It was the classic example of a horse that won the duel but lost the war, maybe bounced a little bit last time out off of that effort. Third off the layoff for Super Needy. This is a horse that doesn't need to be forwardly placed, I don't think. And I think last time out, even though he didn't get a piece, he got good experience from off of it.
He did, and he was down inside of another rival. Look at the internals last time out, too. 22, 45, and 3. Just wasn't quite able to stay close. Worked outward from the quarter pole home, and I thought just kind of even a slight fade it shows on the beam length. So this horse is still giving some effort. I'm going to kind of give him a little bit of a pass third off the break here to be forward and to stay around for a lot of the trip. Jay off the break here. The 8 is going to be my top selection for Brittany Russell. Hasn't been seen since late July, but this is a horse. He's run well sprinting. They're taking the initiative here down to 12.5 off the break, but we showed an early stat off the layoffs. You really don't have to worry about these Brittany Russell runners.
Not at all. And this horse's lone victory came sprinting from off the pace. So I think all this horse needs, considering he might have a class edge, is a little bit of pace to attack. Just consider the horses he was in against last time out. The winner came back to place in a $20,000 beat and earned a 78 Beyer.
Wow. Interesting horse here. I think claimed off of a negative drop. Not So Holy, but he might have another race or two in the tank because you've got a trainer here, Daniel McKenzie. Doesn't run a slew of horses. Yeah, he had 95 starts, a little bit more in 2024, but been very good off the claim.
And we do have a stat for Daniel McKenzie off the claim. 4 for the last 10 with newly claimed runners on dirt. 40% winners, a $3.54 ROI. Not So Holy earned a gigantic Beyer speed figure out of nowhere at Keeneland 3 starts back when getting to the front. This horse is going to show speed once again. I'm not a fan of this horse. He got beat at Mountaineer 2 starts back in a race where I thought it was just a terrible loss, where he had a big lead in the stretch at 1-10 and got beat. Maybe the mile last time out worked against him. He's cutting back in distance. He fits with these horses. I don't want to take too short a price on Not So Holy while realizing he fits with these.
That's true. And Sneaking Suspicion, another horse I think might be a little bit better sprinting, and he might be good down the road sprinting on the turf. I don't know if he's ever done that. He's a little bit of a bad actor sometimes, but I think he's a definite user. And you've got him in the third position, a user in your exacta tries is super for T.J. Aguirre.
Horse that just threw a fit in the post parade last time out, dumped Sheldon Russell that day, expanded a lot of energy, and still ran on at the end behind a horse that would come back to repeat in a 3-life allowance at Mahoning Valley with a 76 buyer. If this pace is hot, this horse comes running late.
That's a look at race 5. Let's turn to race 6 now. Big field. I guess you're going to call this our feature of the day, right? 2 other than fillies and mares. Optional allowance claiming, going 7/8 of a mile, a couple scratches in here. Profittunity, part of the entry of Diane Marici, is now out. Scratch the 4, I'm a Cutie Pie, and the 8, Conquest Dancer. Still a very solid, competitive field. I think we're both, in agreement here. Peppermint Class is in just career best form for a barn that just keeps on going.
Keeps on winning. We saw Miss Buchero last week in a stakes competition scoring. This barn's had 3 winners since January the 8th. Peppermint Class just received a beautiful ride from Angel Cruz last time out. Breaking from an inside post. That's advantageous going 2 turns. There was no one that wanted the lead, so Angel grabbed it on Peppermint Class, dropped the anchor, and was just too much. Now, I'm not sure that trip is available to Peppermint Class in here.
It's
there
not.
are some other speeds, but it's nice knowing that you have a sharp horse that has shown the ability to win from off the pace in the past. I think he's just too sharp to ignore. But this is a race where I'd use some others.
Oh, yeah. I think you've got to spread around in here. Look for your best value. Dream Chaser draws to the outside for Jamie Ness. Michael Sanchez at 7-2 morning line. You're looking really no real hiccups. That 2-back race, a little bit disappointing, but and went a beaten favorite, but holding pretty good form at 7/8 looks to be a really nice distance for this one.
He showed good speed last time out. Came off the rail turning into the stretch, and that hurt him because the horse came up the inside to beat him that day when he was a good second. Dream Chaser, another horse, doesn't need the lead to win. Works out an outside stalking trip. I like horses cutting back from routes to 7.
Yeah, just behind Encore Commentator, was second in the Geisha the other day. Western Lane, a little bit of value here in an 8-1 for Kerry Bryant.
Western Lane's coming off a little bit of a layoff. Horse had no shot in the Allaire DuPont last time out, was fresh. And 2 starts back, however, against similar competition to this, ran pretty well to be third, going a mile and a 16th, finishing ahead of a horse that would come back to run third at Aqueduct with a 76 buyer speed figure. Western Lane is a horse that is cutting back in distance, another late-running sprinter that has run well at 7. But Discreet Ops is a horse I think we have to talk about because she's got plenty of class, and maybe she had an excuse for her most recent start. But let's go back 2 races to November the 30th. This is the safely kept stakes for Discreet Ops, and she ran into a really sharp filly in Ronan Goddess and just didn't really have the best of breaks. Just look at that bump right there out of the start, and it costs Discreet Ops just a little bit. She eventually finds good position, and she is going to make a strong run into the stretch. It takes her a while to make her final lead change once we get into the stretch with Discreet Ops, but she was very game to be second, and she ran an 80 buyer. Here she is. She's got a Corral Dazzling Move, who's the favored leader. She does so, and she just made too much of an early move in this race. This was a good performance. I was disappointed with her last time out, but maybe it was the mile.
Could have been. I like to turn back here to 7/8. You talked about the early adversity out of the gate, and she was under a real hustling ride there, leaving the 3/8 pole to go after that favorite. She's going to draw basically on near even terms in between horses and just fights it out. Tooth and nail, almost too good to lose. A really sharp effort. And maybe a slight little bounce and the mile. Some excuses for Discreet Ops, but I think coming back, she's going to target a horse that you like in here a little bit as well. Talk to the judge, who I think is the speed of the speed, but I look for Discreet Ops to go ahead and stalk that one.
Now, Talk to the Judge does have a lot of early speed, and this horse has been in tough in 3 consecutive stakes races, so getting Lasix again with that early speed might help. 7/8 has not been an issue for this one in the past, and I won't be fooled by the current form. She's been in against some tough ones like Spencerian, who came back, ran third in the What a Summer last week.
Yeah, the 7D surprise for McMahon, a big price could be part of that. Flo has shown some speed out there in Midwest. I think Stop the Cap is a definite user. Robin and I discussed this one earlier on in the week. I think is a player as well to make that run.
Horse has won 3 of her last 5 starts. No problems with 7/8 or a mile. Just coming into this race in very good form for Hammy Smith, who's had a really sneaky good winter here.
Oh, yeah, 27 minutes now until post time. Let's get right to race 7. The late pick 3 starts here, 5.5. First level allowance. These are the 3-year-olds, the optional here. Really good field at 5.5. Scratch the 6, Mission First, and the 8. Big scratch here of Curtis K for Brittany Russell. It's going to leave you with the 5, Nola Boss, the other Russell.
That's the other Russell horse, and this horse just took a few races to finally reach his full potential with a score last time out, and doing so in open lengths. Just broke well, tracked outside. It was a very professional performance with a respectable speed figure, and this horse just looks like he has the tactical speed to sit off of the pace. These are big scratches, however, because now Chipotle, the number 2, might be the main speed for Mikey Gorham adding Lasix.
I think he's going to be quick out of there. Shooter's got to shoot. Can go, has shown that speed in the past, goes second time blinkers and gets back to a fast track today for Saray. I like the 4, Slam Notion for Robbie Bales. This horse off a little bit of a break, really improved second start. It was reported first time gelding last time out, prompted the pace to kick away when clearing a pretty good time over that surface. Lasix goes on today. Robbie, with his 3rd career starters, 642 ROI over the last couple years. So we dug that one up. So you may want to pay attention for Robbie Bales here. It's a 25% strike rate for that stat.
Yeah, good trip coming for this horse because he has speed. He chased fast fractions last time out. He'll be sitting just off Chipotle with a big chance. If they hook up hammer and tongs, keep an eye out for Artillery Gunner. We have a video spotlight off this one's debut win and a $30,000 claimer for Hammy Smith and Victor Carrasco. And it's tough for first-time starters to overcome poor breaks. And Artillery Gunner got pinched a little bit, but J.G. Torrealba, who was riding this day, realized what he had. He just gathered Artillery Gunner up at the back of the pack, and this horse made an eye-catching late move. Here he is kicking to the outside in the stretch, and Torrealba's still riding this horse very confidently. He knows what he has, and Artillery Gunner fires in the final 16th of a mile. Dave Rodman was very impressed. He made this horse a horse to watch on our Laurel Park handicapping guide, available laurelpark.com/picks for free. Download it, handicap along with us throughout the day. Artillery Gunner, this was a promising performance. I'm a little worried about cutting back to 5.5 after the scratch. Maybe there won't be some pace, but maybe he'll just break better.
It was visually impressive. I know the number is 56. It just seemed better than that. And Torrealba got a great rhythm with Artillery Gunner. The money showed early for this runner as well. We opened up at like 4, held it for a long, long way. Just kind of got up to 8 to 1. It was all said and done. But very, very good group. They're fun. 789 Racing Stable and the rest. They're very vocal. They have a lot of fun. They're putting some time and money into this game, and we're rooting for connections like that. 5-4. 2-1 for Dan in race 7. I go 4-5-1-2. So box those forward, see if we can't grab yourself a little superfecta or trifecta. Let's go to the late daily double here in race 8. 24 minutes now until post time. Other than these are state bred, state sired. One scratch. Scratch the 4 Alvey. Another big field here. A field of 10 remains for race number 8 in an 8-5 morning line derbiness. For Brittany Russell, may come down a little bit with the scratch of Alvey. The blinkers went on 3 races ago. Improved speed. This horse is fighting it out. Very tactical.
Yeah, very tactical. Doesn't necessarily need the lead to win, although that's where he's been at the pace call in his last 2 races. Now, while he was beaten as the favorite in his last 2, I thought he fought hard both times. Last time against a quality horse in Whiskey and the Jarro. He just fits in here. But Omar Cummin, to me, is the most interesting horse in the race because look at the trouble this horse overcame last time out at Mahoning Valley. I was watching this race live, and he tried to split horses. We missed the trouble a little bit where he got pinched and squeezed in between horses. He had to lose about 2 lengths. Now he gets to the outside and swings 4 wide turning for home, and he just has no problems inhaling this field. This is a really big effort for Omar Cummin, a horse that has always shown a hint of potential, but now with this race under his belt, I wonder if this horse is finally reaching that full potential.
It certainly looks like it. He's not going to mind the 1-turn mile in this race. You've got Torrealba riding this afternoon. Cruz goes elsewhere. He goes to Crossland. But you talked about Farrier here recently. Let's touch upon this one.
And this is just January 10th to January 18th. Forget 33% before. This is 37%, $2.83 ROI. He places them in the right spots. Omar Cummin appears to be in a good spot here and might get a setup once again. The pace should be solid.
I see 2 similar horses to me. I see the 3, Omar Cummin, and the 2 in the dance to sit. Synonym, I should say, for Aaron McClellan is going to be also out there rolling right along a barn. You have to respect that she brought some horses in here, and they've run big. So I think Synonym, you've got derbiness, maybe a cross line, maybe a Must Be Lover out there forward. I'm looking for a horse to make that move, maybe 3 or 4 out of it mid-turn and sustain from there. Let's hope it's the 2 in the dance or the 3. Omar coming 10, 3, 11, 8 for Dan. I'm 3, 2, 10, 11. We get a little closer to wrapping things up here in race 9. We're going to finish this card. Maiden special weight, fillies and mares, 4, 5, and 6-year-olds going 3/4 of a mile. Morning line favorite is the 4. Is the 7. I Think I Love You. I missed that one down there. That's Cal Lynch off of a break. Dan, Eileen Chardin. This, to me, looks like an all-or-nothing type for Lacey Gaudet.
Absolutely right. This horse hasn't been seen since Saratoga in August, was listed as a vet scratch at Aqueduct in September. Now with Lacey, who just does well with these horses. Here's a stat. First off, the layoff between 120 and 180 days, 6 for the last 27. These with dirt horses, a 445 ROI. This is a strong turf pedigree close up in the family, but this horse is a direct descendant. The 4th dam, I think, is a horse you heard of, Personal Ensign. So maybe Chardin can handle the dirt after all, and just seems very well entered. But you talked about She's Wicked Smart. This horse had a troubled trip last time out at Aqueduct. Let's watch that performance going 7/8 of a mile on December the 15th. You see She's Wicked Smart, who is favored in this race, down on the inside. And this is kind of just a tricky position right now. If you go, you might get checked. If you stay back, you're going to get sort of pinched a little bit. So he's trying to squeeze on through in between traffic. It's not like this pace is very hot, and there you saw. He just had to tap on the brakes and got shuffled back a little bit. She's Wicked Smart earned a big buyer speed figure, 2 starts back, a 67. Might be cycling back into shape in the 3rd start of the form cycle. That's just a strenuous trip because now he's eating dirt.
No, he's just eating dirt and just kind of taking the run out of her. She's been fighting restraint, caught in, boxed in behind the leaders. Horses to her outside, really nowhere to go. And she's going to check again here as they're approaching the quarter pole. Great job by our Equibase staff in New York. Always do a good job. But right here, and it's no moss. These 2 in front just have all the momentum.
No, just stuck behind a dullard. A tiring pace setter gets checked there, almost knocked over the rail. And at this point, Katie Davis does the right thing and pretty much just wraps up on She's Wicked Smart. Though, take that running line with a grain of salt, and you might want to consider that race 2 starts back. Hey, maybe She's Wicked Smart's just simply going to go off the favorite off that race, but maybe not because of the hidden sort of trouble. I Think I Love You is going to show some speed in here as she did last time out. She's coming off a little bit of a break. J-Rod had a choice between She's Wicked Smart and I Think I Love You. Chose I Think I Love You. I think we should talk a little bit about Meg for Tim Keefe, 3rd-time starter. We have a trainer stat. Tim Keefe, experienced runners getting Lasix for the first time, 32% winners, a 404 ROI. This horse improved 2nd time out, saved ground, 2nd best to a gate-to-wire winner. Won't be surprised if this one continues to improve.
I think she's going to get great position, bigger, and just to her outside was really keen. I thought had no excuse last time. Maybe the break just did her in. Got to the
year
top
and a
of the
half
stretch.
layoff.
Yeah, and just couldn't keep going. But I think Meg is going to be able to kind of work her way in a really good spot and bring a finish with first-time Lasix with Forest Boyce and for trainer Tim Keith. 5-7-1-6 for Dan in race 9. I go 4-1-7-6. Going to take this New York shipper and see if she can kind of get back on her game with a clear trip. Best play time. We're going to get things started. My best play going to go in race 7. Slam Notion at a 6-1 morning line. Naturally going to come down with a couple scratches out of there. I just really like the improvement off the break. First time gelding, last time. A big effort just off the pace and enough positional speed to kind of lay close and finish. Robbie, very good with his runner's 3rd career start.
My best play, race number 2. That's the number 4, Win No Joke. 4-1 on the morning line. A horse that lacks a winning profile but should get a pace setup. There's speed in this race, and this horse had trouble last time out. Hoping to get that 4-1 on Win No Joke.
I like it. 18 minutes until post time. Dan, appreciate it. As always, we're going to head right up to Dave Robin, our track announcer, for some scratches and changes. 17 minutes to post. Good luck, everybody.